Hey cuties, I am Lanikia and you are watching What Happened on the Soaps General Hospital Edition. Today is Thursday, August the 10th, 2023. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one, it was solid. I'm going to give it a 7. Now listen, I tried to come in this bathroom and hide and do this review, but Mila busted the door open anyway. So if you hear her, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Let's go. Let's keep going. All right, who do we want to start with, y'all? Yeah, it was a good episode. Um, for the most part. Let's go with Anna and Dante. First of all, Dante goes to visit Anna, and we clearly see someone is outside watching Anna's place. I don't know if it's one of Sonny's people, if it's one of the WSB people that's trying to take her out, if it's Valentine. We don't know. But we do know that they're watching her place. And so then we see that Dante goes in and he talks to her about everything. He says they have no new leads about the Metro Court and who's trying to, take Anna out, because all they have more questions than answers. And so she starts updating him on all the information she has about Valentine and how he really didn't know. He worked with Pikeman, but he didn't really work with them. He just came in, did some contract work and all that. And he said, so why is Valentine telling you all this? And she said, because he's concerned for my safety. So she's trying to figure out who is this new director of Pikeman, because when Frisco wouldn't give the order to strike, in Greenland, they fired him. And so now that like anyone really related, not well, yeah, who was with related to the whole any projects, I guess, that Anna and Robert has done with WSB, and or who could have loyalty to them, has been fired, has been let go by the WSB. So she did tell him about the person who was interviewing her had a Pikeman logo on their one of their files, and he says, well, that could be a coincidence. She was like, it would be a hell of a coincidence. She doesn't believe that, and I don't either, girl. So keep digging. But anyways, they're gonna keep looking into it, and then when Dante leaves, we clearly see someone is still watching her home. All right, guys. So then we go over here to Maxie and Sam. Oh my gosh. Sam comes over to visit with Maxie, and they're, Maxie's children, Georgie and James, are bad, bad again. They're like fussing and fighting with each other. So then we see that she tells Georgie to stay in her room. Sam gives James some ice cream, and Maxie was like, don't you eat all that. He's gonna eat all that. I said, see, you better than me, because I don't, when people come over to visit, I'm like, don't give Mila any sweets, because you're not going to have to deal with that. I adjust her sweets, if she wants something a little, and I don't really like to give her sweets anyways, because, I don't want to mess up her teeth. Even when they're like, give her some juice, I'm like, that's sugar. I don't want to give her that, but I'll give her like a cup every now and then of juice or something like that. I know this is not about me, but I'm just saying I could understand why Sam was like, oh, you gave him ice cream, you better than me, because I would have been like, girl, you finna stay? You finna take him with you? This late at night eating ice cream, gonna be bouncing off the walls, because that was a big bowl. But anyways, so they sit down and talk. And so they're talking about just everything catching up, and Maxie says she needs a bigger house because these two are just driving her crazy. And so Sam says, well, what about Lulu's house? Like Lulu and Dante, I'm sure he would love to rent. If he had to rent it to somebody, he would rent it to you. And Maxie isn't opposed to that. She said, they're always hopeful that Lulu will come back to them. So I guess that's one of the reasons Maxie was like, I don't know, but I guess we'll see where it goes, because y'all have been saying they've been talking about Lulu a lot. They've been talking about the house a lot, and this is what they've been leading to. And I believe you guys as well. I think that's what they're leading to. So then they start talking about Sasha and everything that went down, and Sam asks Maxie, did you see her using again? And she said, no, she was fine. And so they was about to get into like what could have possibly happened to Sasha, because Sam was asking Maxie, had she seen anything different? And right when Maxie could have started talking about how, because she was talking about Home and Heart, and how the last time she saw her, they were at the store, when Sasha shoplifted, right when she could have started talking about that, or just come to Maxie's memory. James gonna come and try to get some more ice cream, and then the conversation went somewhere else. I said, God dang, James, my gosh. And so that's it, y'all. That's it with them. I said, well, I can't keep doing this with y'all. So let's move on. We then see, who do we want to go to next? We see Christina and Alexis. So Christina is at Alexis' place, and Alexis says, "Girl, you scared me. You can't just keep you just can't." She said, "I love that that you think of this as home. You want to come over, but you gonna have to let me know." And Christina was like, "Well, where were you anyways? I expected you to be home. What was you doing? What were you doing?" And she said, she was throwing hatchets, she was throwing axes and stuff. She said, "But I'm not gonna talk about it." But Christina was over there because her favorite show was, she was binge watching it when the Wi-Fi went out. So she ran over to her mama's because she said it's so nice to watch it on the TV instead of my computer or phone. So Alexis was upstairs and she come back downstairs, and Christina was like, "Oh my gosh, you won't believe it." And Alexis was like, "No, no, no, don't tell me." So Alexis done went upstairs and she had started watching the show herself because I love crime shows, so I could understand why she started watching it. So she started watching the show herself, and it was just a nice moment between Alexis and Christina. Sam gave Christina some books, just about business and strategy and everything. And Alexis thought she came over to burn him, and she said, "No, Sam was actually right. As annoying as it might sound, she was right, and I need to learn all of this kind of stuff." But anyways, I like this moment between these two. They're both. I know a lot of people don't like Nancy, but I like the character Alexis. She does a really good job, and I'm liking shoot, her name slips me. But I'm liking the new Christina. I do. I know a lot of people don't, but I like the new Christina. So let's keep going, because that's it, pretty much it with them. Then we go over here and we see Carly and Olivia. So they go to their bikers club, their bikers bar that Sasha, that Jocelyn and Trina had went to, where Oz used to work. And so they end up going there, and they're like, Olivia's like, "Ugh, what is this on my hands?" So she goes off to wash her hands, and Eddie, he there, and he is hitting on Carly because I guess he said, "I like what I see." So he's hitting on Carly or whatever, and Olivia comes out and she says, "Let me talk to you, Carly, for a minute." She said, "Girl, is my husband hitting on you?" And she said, "Yes." So that means he really is Eddie Main. And Olivia said, "Did you doubt me?" She said, "No, but and Ned would never hit on me in front of you or whatever. This has got to be Eddie Main." So she's like, "Oh my gosh," and he picking up women, because this other woman went slid on up to Eddie, and Carly went over there. She said, "I got this girl." So she went over there and she told that woman, "Excuse me, ma'am, that's my spot." And so she left. And so Carly just told Eddie, well, instead of trying to just be like, "I'm Eddie Main and I'm not Ned," why don't you show the Quartermains, who you are as Eddie? Because baby, he was talking about, I was staying with Sonny and it was real cool. He a nice guy, or whatever. He said, but he got that gorgeous fiance Nina, and I didn't want to get in the way. And she was like, yeah, let's move on. And so that's why she was telling him, if you're staying with the Quartermains, let them get to know you as Eddie Main, and they'll like that person, because he does say that Leo likes him and he likes Leo. So then, while this is going on, Mason is at this bar, child, and he is hitting on Olivia. Now she done told the man she didn't want him. And if you have not, Albert Bostic, his channel, he did a interview with Nathaniel, who plays Mason. So y'all should go check that out. I think it's a live. I don't think he chopped it up and put it in a like a he was on live, and then he brought Nathaniel up. So I don't think he chopped it up and did just the video with Nathaniel yet. You have to go into the live, but it's towards the end of a live that he does, I believe last week. But anyways, child, so he's hitting on Olivia, and I said, "No, that ain't what you want right there, Mason. That ain't what you want." So he won't let her go. So Eddie was like, "Wait a minute, like, what you trying to do?" And so he ends up punching Mason, because Mason like, "Go on, old man, this ain't what you want." And so he punches Mason, then Mason punches Eddie Main and knocks him to the floor. And then that bartender, he went on, slid that bottle over to Carly. I said, "Okay, okay then." And she ends up knocking out Mason. And so Eddie gonna wake up talking about, did I get him? Not really, but going back to sleep. So let's move on. Then the next thing we see, who are we going to next? I'm just trying to make sure I get everyone. All right. So then the next thing we see is Portia and Marshall. So Marshall comes over and Portia was like, "Oh, let me go and get Trina." She was like, because she got little snacks and all that kind of stuff out for them, and he was like, "It's." She was like, "We you can join us," and he was like, "Us," and she's like, "Trina, move back in." So she ran upstairs and Trina left her a note that said she had to go out. She said she did that quietly. I hope she's not with Spencer. I said, "Girl, dang, would you lay some them alone? All the mistakes you've made, and you act like, girl, you gonna push her. No, you ain't gonna push Trina towards Spencer because they pushing Spencer towards Esme. But let's move on. So Marshall talks to Portia, and Portia starts talking about how it's her fault Curtis is in this wheelchair because their life could have been different had she told the truth 20 years ago. And Marshall's telling her, you can't think like that. And y'all, when Marshall get emotional and he really get in his acting bag, he be doing it. It's a shame that he has to act with Portia and Curtis when he gets into it, because Portia be putting her hand to her face. I said, girl, all you doing is covering up that you have no real tears coming down your face. Let me stop being so hard on them. But I mean, it like, y'all gotta do better. I love when they show these people, but stop showing them emotional because it's a disconnect. It's a disconnect with it. So Portia doing that, you know how she cries, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's my fault. It's my fault that they don't that he's like this because our life could have been different, and they probably wouldn't have been in Port Charles and Metro Court." Because she said, "I lied to him. He came to me and all that." And Marshall just tells her, "You can't blame that." And then he tells her that he probably gonna move out. She said, "No, we need you most." I don't know if Marshall gonna move out or not, but he tells her that if you need me, if it gets too much of a burden, you remember that I'm always here to reach out to you and everything, right? Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. She's just crying. Let's move on. So then we go over to the hospital, and Finn, he has some patient that's not doing well because he said, "Page me if anything goes wrong." So anyway, Trina comes up and she wants to talk to Finn, and she tells him she needs to get in to see Curtis, and he says, she says, "I know he said he doesn't want to see me, but I need your help." And he was like, "Trina, I don't know." And she said, if this was Violet, wouldn't you want somebody to help her? And that's all it took for Finn. So he was like, "Okay, yes, I'm gonna do it." And so Elizabeth was with Curtis, and she trying to tell him, you're going to rehab tomorrow, and you know you just gotta try your best to do your best in rehab. But anyways, Finn ends up coming in with Curtis, and he tells him, doctors like to play God, but sometimes when they can't be God, they don't have the answers. They have to let people come in and heal what's broken, or try to. That's not what he said. Y'all know I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of what I was hearing. I don't know. So then he opens up the door and Trina is there, and Curtis was like, "Nah, I ain't want to," and she's like, "No, I'm not going anywhere." So Finn ends up leaving, and Curtis and Trina talks, and she says, she's sorry. And he's like, "What you got to be sorry for?" She said, "Because I took my mama's side. Like, I found out you kissed Jordan, and I got on my high horse. I was very judgmental, and I pulled away from you, and that was really selfish." He tells her no. He forgives her. There's nothing to really. He said there's nothing to forgive. He understands she was protective of their mom, and she said, "What did you tell me when you came out of surgery?" He said, "I said I need my daughter," and she said, "I'm right here, and I'm not going nowhere." So Curtis, stop this BS about you don't want to see her, because you're going to see her. Like, she gonna be here for you, and y'all gonna continue to bond and have your relationship. And so then they hug each other, and it was a sweet moment. And then we see Finn gets a call, and something has went wrong with his patient. I said, "Well, what patient is this?" That because it's got to be something, right? Something's gonna happen in this story. I don't know. But anyways, child, let me see if I got everybody. I think I got it in everyone. And if I didn't, I mean, if I didn't, I'm sorry. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow for the final episode of the week of What Happened on the Soaps General Hospital Edition. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye.